Alright, so Wargames just ended, just got done watching it, and what an amazing show that was. So, gonna go ahead and review it here, going over the good, the bad, the indifferent. Let's go ahead and start things off, man, with the way they started things off, the Women's Wargames match. So this was a great way to kick off the show. One Wargames match in the beginning, one at the end. If you had one in the middle, would have been weird. So, this was also my first Wargames match that I've ever seen, so I was looking forward to seeing this. And I'll just go over some of the highlights here real quick. So, Dakota Kai, she replaces Mia Yim in the match, because Mia Yim was injured from that ladder match, and then she goes ahead, because I'm thinking, alright, is something going to happen here? Is she going to turn during the match? Or is she going to go ahead and turn after the match? She turned before even getting into the match, because when it was her turn to get in, instead of actually getting in the ring, she goes ahead, goes back, and attacks her friend, or former friend, I guess now, Tegan Nox. She takes off her knee brace, smashes the cage door, not the actual cage door in the ring, but the cage door that they're in before getting into the ring, onto her knee a bunch of times. She keeps on going on and on and on, until they escort her out, and they're like, yo, just get out of here, so she doesn't even enter the match or anything like that. I was thinking, maybe after the attack, maybe she gets back in the ring, or goes into the ring, and actually joins the other team, but no, none of that happened, so she just left, and Tegan Nox also didn't participate because of the attack, so it's 4-on-2, so I'm thinking, alright, looks like the heel team wins, it's gonna be okay. I was kind of hoping for the face team to win, but I was totally surprised. So, highlights of the match, Rhea smacking Kaylee in midair with a trash can. I like that. It looked good. Io Shirai's moonsault from the top. I know, despite not watching a full Wargames match before, I know she's done that before. I've seen the clip. That was a nice moonsault. I also like her 619s too. And at the end, when Shayna's got Rhea in the sleeper hold and she grabs her arm, then she handcuffs herself to Shayna and then goes ahead and hits her with that powerbomb finisher through or onto the chairs. That was a nice, unique finish, and they end up overcoming the odds. Didn't expect that, but I like the finish. I like that the face team won here, despite what, to me, seemed like an obvious outcome where the heels end up winning because, you know, it's just too much 4-on-2. So, I like that, and man, Bianca Belair was a beast in this match, especially when coming in. She had one of the best intros, you know, just beasting basically in the match, powerbombing people, and I think her and Rhea Ripley should be at the top of the women's division. See, before I would have went, oh, I wonder when they're going to go to the main roster, but now it's like they're treating NXT as, you know, another brand, not a brand that's under SmackDown or Raw, so I don't even know whether it's asked that question or not, but I like the both of them, and I like the fact that Rhea and her team won here. My only complaint with the match is such a minor one, is that Rhea Ripley was hitting some terrible looking punches on Shayna at some point in the match when Shayna was down and she was on top of her. Those punches were not connecting at all, and it was clearly obvious, but aside from that, great match. And speaking of great matches, the next one, the triple threat to determine who's going to challenge Cole for the NXT Championship tomorrow at Survivor Series, which, speaking of that, I'm curious to see what shape Cole's going to be in tomorrow during the match, with what happened in the main event, which I'll get to. But yeah, when it comes to this match, Dunne versus Priest versus Dain, I was like, alright, as long as Killian Dain doesn't win, because I really don't care for him, he's like NXT's Eric Rowan for me, as long as he doesn't win, I'm cool with the winner. And this turned out to be a great match, with great offense actually from all three of them, and a lot of offense where all three are in the ring. Sometimes in triple threats, you get oftentimes somebody getting out of the ring, and then it's one-on-one for a good portion of the match. But there was a lot of action with all three in the ring at the same time, and even outside. And this also had a unique finish. So Pete Dunne hits his finisher on Damien Priest, goes for the cover. You're thinking maybe that's the end, but no, Killian Dain breaks up the pin. Then Pete Dunne gets on Killian Dain's back. Killian Dain goes for that senton on Damien Priest with Pete Dunne on his back. He hits that, and then Dunne gets him at the ring. He basically steals the pin, gets the win. So Pete Dunne is the next challenger for Adam Cole's championship tomorrow, actually, at Survivor Series. And the only complaint that I've got with this is maybe it went a bit long with a lot of kickouts from finishers. But aside from that, it was really good. And then it had Riddle versus Finn Balor, and the first thing that stood out to me in this match was the change in style for Finn Balor. He's still using a bunch of the same moves, a lot of the same moves, but he's also slowed it down a bit in some parts. He's using more submissions and such. You can tell basically that this is a Finn heel Balor wrestling and not a face one. But the match, another good match. Riddle pulled off some stuff there like a bro to sleep, which got some CM Punk chants, you know, there are in Chicago. And then also he pulled out the jackhammer as well, which Finn Balor kicked out of. Once again, I don't know if this is leading to anything. I mean, Ryback was hitting, you know, jackhammers on TV when people were talking, oh, I'd like to see Ryback versus Goldberg because they look alike and they're both undefeated, when he was undefeated at the time. But it, you know, it didn't lead to anything. And now Since then, Goldberg has come back to the ring on some occasions, but would Goldberg come back against an NXT star? Maybe now that NXT's treated more highly, since it's treated pretty much on the same level as Raw and SmackDown now. But anyways, back to the match. Finn Balor actually won this one, as expected, but he didn't win with the coup de grace, so I'm thinking he might start using that less. He tried to go for it during the match, but he missed, and at the end, Matt Riddle going for a high-risk move, discovering why it's a high-risk move when Finn Balor gets the knees up, and then he hits him with that 1960 for the win, and it's looking like that might be his new main finisher, which makes sense, seeing that he's a heel now. It's a move that he can use to take people out, like Johnny Gargano, and also the coup de grace would usually get a pop from the crowd, so he likely wants to minimize that, so he'll likely switch to that. Anyways, we then went on to the main event, and what a main event this was. What a crazy, insane main event. So, right off the bat, when I saw that, whoa, it's main event time, that kind of took me by surprise, because I was like, yo, this is going to be a short pay-per-view, but I like that. Oftentimes, it seems like they feel, oh, the longer the better. Especially like WrestleMania, for instance, where it feels like every single year it gets longer and longer to the point where at some point it's going to be like 10 hours. I'd rather have a show that's shorter, that keeps me wanting to see more, than a show that's way too long where I'm like exhausted by the end of it and I'm just, waiting for it to end. But anyways, on to the highlights. So, they kept the fourth man a surprise for the face team, They showed early on in the show that Ciampa said that he sent out the invitation for that fourth person and he's just waiting for them to accept. He's hoping that they accept, but even if they don't accept, it's fine, they'll take him on 3-on-4. And that's how they started things off. They didn't bring out that fourth man right off the bat. So initially it was 4-on-3, or it looked like it was going to be 4-on-3. So Ciampa starts things off with Roderick Strong, nice start to the match, and then Kyle O'Reilly comes in, he's a second man, so that's the Undisputed Era advantage. And I love Roderick Strong's running forearms. I love that. I've said that before, but this time it was even cooler because Kyle O'Reilly was holding on to Ciampa while Roderick Strong was hitting those running forearms. And then came Dijakovic, and he had a phenomenal start to the match. Once he came in dominating, man. He came in like a beast, destroying everybody, throwing everybody around. They did a great job at making him look like a powerhouse. And then Keith Lee came in, and I also liked his starts. Now, Keith Lee, they kind of took a different approach, or he took a different approach. Instead of going the full powerhouse route, he showed more of his athletic ability. He went ahead, jumped over Undisputed Era, hit them cross bodies, jumped from one ring to the other onto them and stuff like that. Moving on, Cole was the last guy for the Undisputed Era. He came in, brought a bunch of tables in, but for some reason, he put one on the outside of the ring. I was like, okay, why would you do that, assuming you're gonna go inside the ring and you can't go outside? Because if you go outside, you forfeit the match for your team. And then I find out right afterwards, like before he gets in the ring, why he put that table there, because Ciampa just went ahead and pushed him through that table. But, I mean, thinking about it, kind of makes Cole look stupid. Why did he set up that table in the first place right there? The tables in the ring made sense, but the one outside didn't make too much sense. But anyways, it was 3-on-4, then the timer started running down until it hit 0, and then nobody comes out. Undisputed Era is laughing, and they're like, nobody's there, so somebody's gonna come out, and they're gonna be all shocked. That's exactly what happened. I had a feeling that it might be this guy. Ended up being Kevin Owens. So KO comes out to a big pop, and then he gets in the ring and he starts beating everybody up. He hits a bunch of power bombs, and then he goes ahead and tells Cole to suck it and hits him with the stunner. And then you get Keith Lee and Dijakovic going for a throw on Strong. They were trying to throw him over the top rope in the other ring onto Undisputed Era, but they messed up the throw, and he went like between the ropes. And then Kyle O'Reilly hit that nice knee from the top rope on Keith Lee's leg, and then followed that up with a knee bar submission. That was cool. And then we got the Undisputed Era hitting some double T moves on Keith Lee, and Roderick Strong hit him with a top rope Olympic slam. That was a big move right there. And we got the package pile driver tease from Kevin Owens in between the two rings, but Adam Cole countered it with the Panama Sunrise. Afterwards, we got Ciampa hitting a bunch of running knees to the Undisputed Era, one after the other, until Cole comes out of nowhere with a super kick, but then eventually he gets Adam Cole also against the cage, and he starts hitting him with those running knees as well. And then the ending started. And I say started because it was a series of events, one after the other, and then the final one being the craziest one. So Dijakovic hit a choke slam on Strong through a table. And then he was fighting it out with Kyle O'Reilly, trying to put him through a table, but Kyle O'Reilly was holding on to him like and trying to get a submission in, so he put him on the table, then put him through the table, trying to get his arm off of Kyle O'Reilly, and then Kevin Owens, to stop that, or to get Kyle O'Reilly off of Dijakovic, hits him with a frog splash through the table. Nice, cool way to get rid of that submission, or to help your partner there. And then Keith Lee goes ahead and hits the Spirit Bomb, the Power Bomb on Fish through a table, and then you knew what was coming next, because for a couple minutes you saw Cole and Tommaso Ciampa on the top of the cage, so you knew somebody was going to fall off the top of that cage, because he also had some tables under it, 2 tables, and that's exactly what they did. Tommaso Ciampa goes ahead, puts him in the air raid crash position, and then he jumps off the cage with him and hits the air raid crash through both tables. Crazy height, crazy spot, and that ends the match right there. 1, 2, 3. The face team wins the match. And then they show Britt Baker in the crowd. So that kind of came as a surprise since she's from AEW. But man, what a finish to that match, and what a match it was. What a pay-per-view this was. Not a single bad match on the card. The only negatives of the match were Kyle O'Reilly at some point went for like a running kick on, I think it was Dijakovic. Yeah, Dijakovic in the corner, and that kick completely missed. It went right over Dijakovic's head, and Dijakovic still sold it like he hit the kick, which he totally didn't. And that botched throw from Keith Lee and Dijakovic, but those were really minor complaints, very minor. So pretty much everything was good, and I love the fact that the pay-per-view did not go on for way too long. This, I thought, was the right time. I feel like all pay-per-views should take from this one and shorten the time, shorten the pay-per-view time. But anyways, man, I would give this show a 9 out of 10. This was really good, and I don't think I've given a 9 out of 10 for a show in a really long time, like probably years. So, amazing show. Let me know what you guys thought of the show in the comments section. If you enjoyed the video, click the like button. I'm out. See ya.